Hey, Steve Peterson here with Infinity Investments. Welcome to our channel where we talk all things commercial and investment real estate. And in today's video, I'm responding to a comment that I got on one of our other videos. And the comment asks, hey Steve, how do you feel about landlords selling their properties due to the rent abatement that's going on, across the country, but more particularly here in California and the Bay Area? As you know, California has a lot more stringent rental laws than most other states. And the Bay Area, particularly Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley, San Jose, Richmond, has very stringent rental laws and rent control. So, here's my thoughts on that. Now, I am seeing a lot of people selling apartment buildings. Now, what's interesting though, I'm seeing more inventory than I've seen in years in Oakland, let's say. However, properties are being snapped up. That being the case though, a lot of apartments in the apartment market really was cool. It wasn't moving that briskly until about late April, May of this year, 2021. A lot of apartment buildings in Oakland sat on the market during the pandemic and up really until April, May of this year. And that was interesting because, again, the rent moratorium, people didn't, buyers really didn't know what was going on. There really wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel. The vaccine was really out. When it came out, people, didn't know how it was going to react. It seemed as though in April and in May, the market started moving. And a lot more buyers felt a lot more confident in the apartment market. And however, what I am seeing a lot of here in the Bay Area is a lot more inventory. And usually when you see an influx of inventory, the market will stagnate. What's interesting right now is that we've seen this increase in inventory, but properties are still moving. Now, the caveat to that is, what is the condition of what is the amount of your current rents? In other words, are the tenants in this building paying market rent, close to market rent, a reasonable rent, or are they paying 1970s rents? Because you know how it goes in rent control. You got some people, the market for a 2-bedroom in East Oakland, let's say, is anywhere between $1,800 and $2,200 depending. Nicer neighborhoods, maybe $2,500, right? So if you got somebody in there paying $600, $700, they paying 1977 rents, right? And you're gonna see a bunch of that around. So you're not selling the building at a 3 cap with 1977 rents in deep East Oakland. Now you might get away with that around the lake in a nicer neighborhood. But even around the lake, investors are sitting here saying that I'm not going to be able to evict people who are not paying rent, and I'm not going to be able to relocate people. The only way that you would get somebody out of a building who's paying 1977 rents is you come up with a fat payday, and they have to agree to that, right? And so that gets priced into the deal. And so what I'm seeing is properties that are well priced, properties that have reasonable rents, maybe not even market, just reasonable. Those properties are moving. And they have begun moving at a very brisk rate throughout our state, and I think also throughout our country. I get a lot of emails from brokers across the country, particularly in Arizona. I don't know what they're doing in Arizona. I'm seeing $200 grand a unit in Phoenix, 150, 175, 250 grand, 100,000 per unit in Phoenix. Arizona is really hot right now. But even across the country, I see stuff in Texas, 100,000, 150,000 per unit. Now, and I'm not talking luxury stuff. So cap rates are pretty much in the 4 or 5%, which is, what we've seen in the Bay Area, but I'm seeing 4 or 5% all over. In fact, I'm seeing 4% in the Central Valley. I'm doing a deal right now in Stockton, and that's a 4.9% cap rate. So it's an interesting time in the apartment market. I do think a lot more landlords in particular markets, such as Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley, San Jose, are exploring selling their properties. There's more properties on the market that I've seen in a while. And in other places, such as, to give you an example, the Central Valley, not as many people are wanting to sell. In fact, more people, when I talk to owners, more people want to hold on. And I think it has to do with the fact that in that area, the rental laws are not as stringent as they are in the interior Bay Area. So I do see more landlords here in the Bay looking to sell their properties, although they ain't giving them away. And that's, I think, the weird part about the market, that a lot of buyers were kind of licking their chops, thinking, hey, this pandemic came, We got rent moratoriums or eviction moratoriums, forbearance. There's gonna be some deals out here. And I do still think we'll see that, by the way. Whenever these moratoriums wash off, whenever banks, are not giving more, forbearance anymore, there's always going to be somebody get caught up, right? What's weird now is we're not really seeing that much defaulted, distressed property. We're not seeing discounted properties. We are seeing lenders lending. I've seen a lot of all cash transactions. And I think with the all cash thing, that a lot of investors are looking and saying, hey, I don't want this cash to be in the bank. My cash in the bank is losing value with all this inflation that's going on. And a lot of people I've seen also cashing out in the stock market. Now, the stock market is still crazy, but I've seen a few people sell stocks and buy real estate all cash. In our office, that happened twice this year. I'm trying to think when that happened before, I don't know, but for surely this year twice. People said, hey, I'm selling stocks, I made a bunch of money. Now I'm not against the stock market, I just made a ton of money, and I'm gonna take that money and get some sticks and bricks, which I think makes a lot of sense, especially if you're using the building for something, right? We're seeing that in the office industry. I just did a short video on office, because our company sold 4 office buildings, small office buildings, but we are a multifamily brokerage. And we always do some small commercial, 1 or 2 a year. This year we've sold 4, and it's in August. And I just think that sector, investors feel very confident in that sector. But let me just tell you, all 4 of them, all cash. And I think that what people are saying is, hey, I got a bunch of cash from wherever they got it from, and they want to get something tangible, and they feel as though office properties represent, I don't want to say a discount, but represent something that's undervalued, or they might be able to add some value, right? And get something tangible that can be used. 2 of those transactions were owner users, so they're going to use these properties for their businesses, and they did it with cash. Now, at the same time, there's a ton of very cheap money to buy these type properties, office type properties. Also, cheap money to buy apartment buildings. So I think, particularly with the apartment buildings in the rent abatement, I think we've hit a point where a lot of buyers and their representatives are out hunting again, snapping up properties. We are seeing a lot of sellers selling properties, but they're getting them sold right now. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this year plays out with this Delta variant. Kids going back to school, us resuming the economy, if you will. It'll be interesting to see, because it's a lot of awkward things in this economy. I think more than anything, now is the time to formulate a plan and to make sure you assemble a team. Whatever it is that you're going to do, whether you're buying, selling, you're investing with someone else, you need to have a plan, and also be nimble enough to bob and weave through the intricacies of this market. And I say intricacies because it's definitely interesting. There's a lot of pros, a lot of cons. I like to think about, I started my company in November 2009, so I'm always aware of the worst case scenario, although I'm an optimist internally. But I just saw too much destruction in 07, 08, 09. I will never forget that. So I think anything that we're doing, for our clients and us for our investors, we're being cautiously optimistic, but I'm totally aware of, there may be some challenges in the future. So I just wanted to share that. That was a great comment that we got on one of our videos about, hey, what's going on with all these landlords selling properties because of the abatements. In California, I just can speak to the Bay Area. We still have a rental moratorium that is through September. It'll probably be pushed back, just looking at this Delta variant. A lot of landlords are complaining about that. There's aid for landlords now, but that aid is, especially in the state of California, is being administered slower than molasses. So hopefully, we get back to some sort of normalcy here soon. But the bottom line is, make a plan, assemble a team, and head up, eyes open while you're out there investing. I hope this helps. If it does, like, subscribe. Let's stay in contact. Let me know your thoughts on this subject of landlords selling due to rent abatements. I'll be very interested to get your feedback. Thanks a lot, and best of success to you in your investing career.